everyone, welcome back. Once again, I am bringing you guys another interview, and this time I'm joined by BONECOLD, the in-game leader of Team Vitality. Hi, BONECOLD, welcome.
Hi, Ensu. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's definitely great to talk to you. Now, you've been with Vitality for a little bit, but it's not the same Team Vitality as last year when you guys competed in the VRLs. You have some new players. So talk me through, how much input you had when it comes to bringing in these new players, and why did you guys decide to go with the new additions?
So, like with this current, like the with the with the new roster that we have, there was a lots of it was lots of like Sala or head coaches, like input on the roster, and then also our analyst Gorillas, and I had some say in it, but I knew like Destrian a little bit, but then like Molsi and Twisten were kind of new to me. But we were looking to get like a very solid package, and Tala knew both Molsi and Destrian from Oglu. So we came to the conclusion because Vitality, like we already knew when we were building the roster that we are going to be moving to Berlin to the office and to the apartments. That it is very nice to start the season off like knowing like some of the people because everybody's going to be running um like new teams and new rosters. So we knew that it's going to be important that like we know like at least some of the personalities when we actually come here and we're going to be playing inside the office with all of the players like almost 24/7. So that's that's like one of the I think one of the biggest things. We wanted to have like this very friendly and very like open environment when we start this roster going into this season of 23.
I mean, you have a very strong roster as well, of course. I think a lot of people are rating you very highly. But for you personally, obviously, you had like the absolute highest of highs any player could ever feel in Valorant. But then it did feel like there was a bit of a low point as well. You weren't even in VCT for a while. So talk me through the emotions of that and now knowing that you're going to be on a franchise team.
Yeah. So yeah, it was hard knowing that what is it like after just winning the world championship and when I got benched from Ascent and going to the new team, I knew that like when I'm going to go with Vitality, I knew that I'm not going to be playing VCT. I'm not even going to have the chance to even last chance qualifier to go to champs. But I wanted to go with something like very long run. And playing off in the French league and the VRL finals last season, it gave me good confidence of knowing that like we won the French league and we got second on the VRL finals. It gave me good confidence of knowing that what is it like where my place is as like a player and IGL and like where my level is. And it was a really good experience for me coming into the season of franchising. Uh, there was like lots of like weaknesses. There was lots of strengths that I noticed that I need to practice on, and I feel like going into this season after the result we had in Manchester, I've been feeling extremely good. There's a lot of things that I can bring to the team from like the previous Vitality or the Ascent roster, and then there's lots of things that Sala has brought to me that has kind of widened the ideas that I have and like how I see like how I want to play Valorant overall. So I feel like I'm in a really good spot going into this season.
How have you mentally dealt with the emotional roller coaster that was winning the first ever Masters in EU and then, being a world champion, then getting benched and then not playing VCT at all and then coming back into franchise as well? It's like your journey is like this.
Yeah, it's been very up and down, and but I'm just grateful because Salah has brought like a lot of consistency to the team, and we've been feeling like extremely good overall. And so like going in like for this season, like I have no regrets about like my past, and I really want to keep it that way. So going into this season with this roster and the coaching stuff, I'm feeling extremely good. So I just can't wait to actually go and play on stage again.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be playing on stage in a few weeks' time, and it is your first international since lifting a trophy. So the last time you traveled abroad to play in an international tournament, you won the whole thing. How are you feeling about making your return to the international stage?
It's going to be nice. I know it's going to be what is it? It's going to be like full of emotions going to Brazil, seeing all the old teammates, traveling again because even though I have like 2 3 years of experience in Valorant, but before that I had no like international or even national success in like previous games that I played. So it's going to be a wild ride again, going playing this season, seeing some old teammates, seeing some of the players from the other teams in Sao Paulo. So I'm just excited to start playing again and yeah.
It feels weird, right?
Yeah, it does for sure.
I think it feels weird for the rest of us then. You're all kind of like, I feel like it's like you and Gambit, you guys all kind of split up and you're all going with different teams and you're probably going to have to play against each other at some point as well. So that's going to be really interesting. And speaking of teams you're going to be playing, the first team you're going up against is Global Esports. Now, I don't know if you know, but they have like a very, not beef, but they have like a historical, like emotional need of against the org Vitality. There's like some history there. There's some stories there. If you don't know about it, you should definitely go watch it.
Oh,
This,
I need
yeah,
to ask. I know we have what is it? Like we have like an office in India.
yeah,
I haven't been. I don't have like that much info on like
yeah.
what's Vitality's business in India, but I'll need to ask for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
but for,
to
for,
get,
for global
yeah.
esports, it's like a big moment. They're like, oh my God, we're playing against Team Vitality. Like, we're really wanting to play against them. This is almost like too coincidental that the first opponent is Vitality. But I want to ask you, how much do you know of global esports? Like, do you know what they're like? Have you seen them play? What are your thoughts on them?
For now, I haven't been doing like any preparation. We only got the information about the match a few days ago. But overall, I know that they're going to be very hungry to compete because they haven't been to any international tournaments, and this is going to be their first one. So they will be going to play with no regrets. So but I'm still very confident that what is it like the matchup we have like on the first game we have against them. It it should be like a very very nice and solid and just a breeze of a match for us.
That's very, very confident there. I do want to ask you about the rest of the potential matchups as well. I don't know if you feel this way, but it does feel like 100 Thieves against against Ascend, even when you face them at Rebel home ground. There's just something about 100 Thieves, right? Do you feel that? Like they always kind of beat you in these situations, and you never seem to get an opportunity to get your revenge.
I just want to say I think third times is the charm. We've always faced 100 Thieves, like once with the team I've had. So this is going to be the second time now with what is it with this roster. So I don't know. I don't think there's any like I don't think there's a curse or anything like that, but it's always exciting to play against them. I know what is it? I was a big fan of the roster and coaching staff when Shangares was in there. So I don't know if it's just me being like extremely scared to play against them or what, but I think they're a very solid team, and it's going to be nice if we actually can manage to play against them on the stage of Brazil.
What do you make of the format in terms, considering you're kind of the second batch, you're the second group, and maybe I'm really biased, obviously coming from EMEA, but it feels like all of the strongest teams that could have been in a group, maybe with the exception of like Paper X and DRX and so on, are all in your group. How do you feel about that?
Uh, I don't really mind it. I've always had this idea like from the days of Ascent where I like me and like our team can only control like the performance and not the results. So we'll be going like every match we're going to go and like give it all. So it doesn't really matter do we face one of the strongest teams early on or like later on in the tournament. But overall the format it is a little bit of cutthroat in the sense of it is what is it like a single elim. But I feel like that is like I feel like where teams that actually like have the confidence and have like the calmness behind their play, I feel like they will be the ones like succeeding and getting out of groups.
EU teams, basically.
Basically.
That's how I'm feeling. But again, I'm very, very, very biased here. But what are the general kind of approach to this tournament? Because obviously, I don't know if there's going to be points. Maybe there is, but it feels like the big prize is that if you win it, you give your region an extra slot to Tokyo. But outside of that, I'm not 100% sure how teams are sort of understanding the stakes of it. Like, are you going into this tournament feeling like, if we don't win, then I consider that a failure, like if we don't win the whole thing? Or do you guys have a different approach to this?
uh, we have a goal to getting to playoffs. But as I said, I feel like it's just about like we just want to be like the best version of ourselves when we go there, because we've had like a really good time of laying down the fundamentals for G-Loot and for Red Bull home grounds. And I feel like this time when we now come to Sao Paulo, I feel like we've planted like the fundamentals of our game. Now we can like start adding like all the juice and all the spices into our game. So I'm very excited to come and like show like what we've been cooking up in the laboratory of Vitality office when we go and get to play.
Oh, I'm excited to see that as well. I mean, that's the thing, right? Because you guys are one of the teams that did play a lot in the off season. I think some teams didn't play at all. Like, there's a few teams that we don't even know what they're doing, and there's some teams like you guys. You decided to play like not as many as you can, but quite a few off season tournaments even. Do you feel like that was the right move, looking back on it? Because there's the whole like, oh, do we save strats and like not show what we're doing until Brazil, or do we try and get some experience?
Uh, I I always like to have I prefer having experience in just getting officials done, like with playing like with any roster rather than trying to save strats. I At least this is the case for me. I always felt that like how I play the game, there isn't like that much that can be anti-stratted that hard. So I always like the fact of just having like more officials and getting like maybe there's like some pressure that like some of the teams or players need to like went out by either like winning some official games or even losing some official games. So I always prefer like playing more than playing less, especially when it's off season and like the results aren't that big of a thing basically.
Yeah, I mean the meta is going to be completely different anyway. Like all the tournaments you play so far, like there's new maps and all that. But when looking at your team, obviously you've had a lot of experience internationally on LAN. Not quite yet in front of a crowd in Valorant. But are you concerned at all that the lack of those experience from the rest of your teammates is going to be an issue when going up against other teams that might have a full roster that competed internationally before?
Yeah, there is going to be for sure. There is going to be, like just going into the darkness where what is it? Not a lot of us has the experience, and especially when it's going to be like hopefully like a really big crowd in Brazil. So I feel like there's going to be like lots of things that I can bring to the table, like for routines before we start the games before we go to stage. But it's going to be like some of the first games that we're going to play on stage. It's always going to be kind of a mystery how people are going to react. Like when the crowd is roaring after every kill, so or every frag. Um, and for me, it's just going to be very exciting to get to play in front of a crowd because, well, I've had like lots of tournaments with no crowd, and even those have felt like extremely nice to play, even on a stage with no crowd. But when people are yelling, like out loud after every round, it is so nice. I don't think there's anything better than winning the last round, taking off your headset, like it's complete silence. You take off your headset and I don't think there's any better feeling.
Yeah, I mean, especially with someone like Twisten, I feel like he's already had some moments in his career, which I feel like if it was in front of a crowd, like him dashing in with a shorty or dashing in with a bloody judge or Bucky, like whatever other shotguns that he has.
I
Uh,
just hope, I just really hope he doesn't get that much energy. I remember seeing some clips from Red Bull where, what is it, like when he gets like a 3K, he gets a clutch, like, like he's just looking at me, like from my perspective, I just look to my side, and what I see Twisten is doing, he's coming with the fist bump like this, like you can see me on the clips. Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. So I just hope the crowd doesn't feed him too much energy into those fist bumps because those really hurt.
I mean, it does feel like, at least personality wise, if I compare it to Ascent, that maybe the current teammates you have, I could be wrong. I'm just purely looking at it from the Red Bull tournament. Maybe they're a little bit less kind of loud out there. Is it easier for you to maybe get control of situations on stage? I mean, you guys already had one kind of like proper stage tournament. So if things do go wrong, do you feel like you have a better control over things? I mean, Starkso was just like a like a ball of energy. I don't even know if
Yeah,
anybody can control that.
no, I don't think there is. Goldamenta might actually have something in him that can control Starkso to a degree, but not fully. I think the same goes to like Zeke when he was feeling it. I think that duo right there was something very uncontrollable. But for my team, I feel like there's like I can easily find the control. I do still I can see that like Twisten and Molsey for sure are type of players that when they're feeling it, um, it maybe doesn't go to the same degree as Darkso yelling and dancing on stage, but they can also like what is it? They have like their pop-offs. They have they have their yelling, especially Twisten. And the fist bumps are what is it? I'm starting to block them with my elbows.
I'll look out for that. I'll look out for that. Do you know what? I want to see Mosey do a dance. I can't imagine it, but I want to see it.
I think Molsey actually, he has the energy. I feel like when we go to Sao Paulo, where he's just going to be, like when he wins the clutch, he's just going to, like to stand up, look to the crowd, give some side, like
Oh,
like
a
some,
little
give some.
like, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the type of one who's just going to absolutely like do not care at all, like about the enemy team or the crowd.
I,
I feel like he has the kind of like I don't care energy behind him.
That's what I like to hear. That's the entertainment. I feel like that's going to be the entertaining part. And last question before I let you go. Now, there's been a lot of tier lists, right? Before every tournament, there's people making different tier lists of their own of where they think teams are going to be. Now, there's 32 teams for this tournament, so I think the tier lists have been like kind of crazy. Like some people think a team is A tier, but then other people think that A tier team is like D and so on. Obviously, you guys have been playing, you've been boot camping, you've been practicing, so you kind of have a good understanding of how you're doing right now, at least in Europe. So if I asked you to put Team Vitality in a tier list right now, with the other 32 teams in mind, where would you put yourselves going into Brazil?
I, I what is it? This might sound like this might sound a little weird, but I'd put it in A tier, and I'd still have like an S tier like above us because I do feel like there's a lot of teams that when what is it like with their players and if they can hit like a sweet spot and what is it like kind of like hit like hit the game of running in like in the right energy. I feel like like some of the teams might be like very hard to play against. I'm putting us in A tier because I just feel like something that we are doing this year, like the way we practice and the way we want to go into the officials is we want to be like extremely consistent. So I feel like even though there might be, like teams that when they pop off, they can be extremely, extremely good. I still feel like, like we can be the team that is just going to be grinding out round after round after round. We start off like running hard, like it's going to be me just calling, like, yeah, let's go and just do the B attack 5 times in a row. You never know. So I'd say us in, I'd put us in A tier.
Who are the teams that you feel like are above you right now, or do you even think there are any teams that could be above you?
Um, I feel like there might be some teams that like if they do hit like the absolute sweet spot and they can get all the 5 players running, but there ain't that many, and I think it's going to be like a kind of a stroke of luck, and it has to be their day. I feel like teams like Paper Rec, I'd say Liquid, and then if Shao is winning every single clutch for Navi, that might be the case. But I don't see like other teams for now. Maybe there's some like NA teams, but because I just have like no info like how they practice, how they are, so it's hard to say.
I mean, Shao's probably gonna win every clutch. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
And
let's be
never,
on. No,
never seen him
it's
lose one.
no, it's up by Shao, so it's just unlosable for him sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they do as well in Brazil because you're in the same group, so you never know, you might go up against them. But thank you very much, BONECOLD, for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and good luck with everything that's going on. And I look forward to seeing you guys play on stage.
Perfect. Peace out. Thank you.